Guys, this is Jess again. I wanted to come back and do another watercolor tutorial for you. I just spent a bit of time on YouTube just having a look and seeing what other artists were doing for watercolor on Photoshop, and I was frankly kind of shocked, and my artistic side was slightly appalled as well. Personally, I think that a lot of the videos out there are kind of cheating and not really art at all. That's my opinion, but that's the way it is. Maybe it's good for graphic design, but for me, it's taken all the fun out of drawing and painting, which is really what art should be about. So, in my opinion, this method of watercolor painting is the real deal, and it feels more like you're actually painting rather than just using a bunch of effects that you can do in Photoshop and layers and masks and things like that. So I really hope that you use this method and actually grow as an artist and use your actual skills. Because at the end of the day, artists are known for what they can do with their hand and a paintbrush or a pencil, and not just pressing buttons on a computer. So here we go. Let's color this guy. This is a drawing I've done that I scanned into my computer. This is drawn by hand, and now it's uploaded into Photoshop CC. And I'm going to color this using my watercolor technique. Right, so first thing we're going to do is grab the lasso tool, and we're just going to trace around him like that, and copy him. Command C if you're on a Mac. And go up to File, New, change the width into inches, and I'm going to make him 7 by 7. So that's a 7 by 7 piece of paper. Resolution must be at least 300 pixels per inch, and the color mode I'm going to change to CMYK. Okay. All right, that's your blank piece of paper. Now what I want you to do, this is the only fancy thing that you're doing in Photoshop, is that you're actually making a watercolor textured paper. That's how you get the watercolor effect. So to do that, this is a blank piece of paper. I want you to imagine like it's just a piece of printer paper. And what you really want is a piece of watercolor paper. So to do that, you need to go down here and make a new group. Press that, press group, and then go ahead and press this little icon that looks like a camera, and that is a layer mask. Press that, and then go up to edit, and you're going to go to fill, and you're going to fill it. This is where you're making your texture. You go to pattern, and if you haven't already, you go to this whirligig here and you add artist surfaces. And then they'll come up here, and this is a whole, and I want you to just experiment with this. These are all different patterns that you can try using, and they all have a different texture. For watercolor painting, my favorite is the one that's actually gouache light on watercolor. If I hover, there it is, gouache light on watercolor. That is meant to actually be a watercolor paper, an actual texture. This is all you need. The other fancy stuff for me, I could do without. So go ahead and press that, OK. And you see it filled this box in grey. You can't see the texture on here yet, but you will once you start colouring on it. So I'm just going to show you real quick an example. Let's add a new layer, and I want you to change it down here to from normal to multiply. What that does is it enables you, when you colour, to layer and to have a transparency to your painting, which is how watercolor is. Now I use a watercolor brush, one brush for everything that I do, and I will give you the link to that on the video. And so you want to have that painting there, and up here mode, it's probably on normal. I want you to change it to multiply. Here's the difference. When it's on normal, let's get a color. Okay, I'm just going to paint random here. Okay, there's your color. And I try and paint over it again. It's on normal. Nothing. See that? Doesn't go over the top of it. I can't add a layer of color on it like you would with a real watercolor painting. So if I change it to multiply, look at that. I can add color on top of color, which is so much more exciting. And then on top of that, you can blend these colors together if you want to. Go down to your smudge tool right here. And I just have it on normal and the strength is at 11%. I keep it pretty low, but you can also play with that too. And then look at that, you can blend the colors in together. You may want to blend it, you may not want to blend it. Sometimes I leave, you know, a little bit on the outside. I leave some edges because I like it. You could play with the strength. See, that's a little too much for me, but you might like it. Okay. All right, so that's just to give you an idea, and I'm going to get rid of this. Go ahead and delete it. Okay. Now, I'm going to lighten the texture a little bit. To do that, I'm going to press on this box, go to Command L, which is your levels. Bring up your levels, and I'm going to swing that down. And actually, I'll show you a second how that actually changes it. Put in another color. Okay, just a bit of color. Now go back onto this box. Go back to levels, Command L, and watch. See how it changes? So you can go completely and then it's solid color. Or you can drag this over and you can make as much or as little texture as you want. That's as much texture as you can get. I don't want quite that much texture, which is why I usually pull it into about the middle of the graph. Okay, so now you know. Delete that again. All right, now, new layer, put it to multiply, and let's grab my little fox. Command C, Command V, there he is. Now I'm going to make him bigger. So Command T, and I'm going to hold down the Shift key and the Option key at the same time, drag it out. That enables him to stay in the center of the picture, and also I can change the size of it without distorting it. Press Enter. Okay, now look, dirty paper mark, don't want that. So we're going to go to Command L again, which is your levels again. As you can see, I don't use that many different things. And you're just going to go to the white eyedropper tool right here and click on the paper. And boom, look at that, cleaned it all up for me. Okay, and I'm going to rename this layer drawing. Another thing I noticed from the other tutorials is they have so many layers. I mean, you have to be so confused by the end of those tutorials. I hope that you find this a lot easier. I'm going to add another layer and I'm going to also change it to multiply. And this I'm going to rename color. See how simple this is? You've got a drawing layer and a color layer. This is just like painting, but digitally. Okay, now I'm just going to show you how you can do a bit of color and just play around with it and do whatever you want. Okay, I'll move him in the middle. So, and I also put it on a separate layer so that if I don't like what I do, I can delete it without deleting the drawing layer. So just go ahead to your color picker, grab any color you want. Let's get some yellow. Okay. Make sure that your brush is still on multiply and just start adding color, you know, haphazardly. I want you to think like an artist, not like a graphic designer. This is meant for real artists. Not that graphic designers aren't real artists, but you know, it gets so technical and I feel like you lose so much of the creativity in your art. I'm going to do a bit of darker orange. And look, I'm just layering on top. Do you see how, if I zoom in here, do you see how it's just adding layer on layer, which I love that. And it's messy, which is good because art is not perfect. Right? We don't want it to be perfect. And the other cool thing is you can, that's the joy of doing it on digital, you can choose any color you want. I like to use blues in the shadows. Layer a bit of blue in there, right? Maybe I'll get a bit of a brown. Make my brush a bit smaller. And you see I'm not sticking to the lines either because I'm a rebel. Give him some little brown feet. Maybe a little brown nose. So I'm just doing this really quick and messy, but it's just to give you an idea that, you know, when you're doing your art on your computer, be an artist. Don't don't try and just learn all the cool ways of doing it. Just still draw, still paint, still create, but do it for you. Do it how you would do it, not how the computer sees doing it. Okay, now I've got that. It's kind of cool, just leaving it like that, but I'm going to blend it. So go down to your smudge tool, and you can change the size of it. So if you wanted just to blend a little bit, you could make it smaller. Just blend a bit. Like that, you could make it bigger. You could blend a lot. You can do whatever you want. Now, you might like the paint coming off the edges. You could leave that. You could smudge it. You could erase it. So you get the erase tool. Just erase a little bit. You know, I want you to be free to do your art. Be an artist. Don't let the computer do the art for you. Just use it as a tool. It's like a brush. And let's see, I'm going to give it a little bit of blue. See, I'm just literally layering on top of layer right here. Maybe add a little bit of purple. Okay. It's pretty. And see, I mean, that's just messy and done, but look, it's a real piece of art. I did that with my Wacom tablet and my digital pen, and just using the color on my computer. I have 2 layers, and that's it. You know, he's done. You can do whatever you want with it. I might blend this a bit. That's the thing, is that's the great thing about doing it on Photoshop, is that you have so much freedom to change it. And if you didn't like that, I'll just go Command Z. Oh, delete that. I didn't like that. You know, do it again. Or do whatever you want. Change it, and then you can turn off the color whenever you want. This is what it looks like without the drawing. That's pretty cool too. But to me, that feels like a watercolor painting. I did that myself. I'm proud of it myself. So go and create, guys. Go and make some real watercolor, real digital watercolor paintings. And I'd love to see how you do, and let me know if you have any questions. Okay, have a wonderful day.